Welcome to a TLDR MoP guide for Jinrokh, for anyone experiencing the second pinnacle of WoW raiding. Jinrokh is the first boss in Throne of Thunder, is single target, and has one repeating phase. For tanks, the boss yeets you into the closest statue that spawns an expanding puddle, and standing inside buffs damage and healing, so everyone get in for the juice. And Static Burst gives the main tank 10 stacks that drop off over time, but deal raid-wide damage when you take melee hits. Taunt swap when they go out, but if it hasn't dropped before the next set, the stacks should be low enough to taunt back and just heal through it. Focused Lightning targets a ranged player with an orb that explodes and spawns a fissure when it reaches them. Drop the fissure at the edge of the room and make sure you're out of the water before the orb appears or you'll zap the group, and when the pool expands over a fissure, you'll take some damage but just heal through it. And if you kite the orb into another fissure, you'll probably all f***ing die. On Heroic, everyone except the tanks gets Ionization, a debuff that deals splash damage when removed. If you're standing in the water when it is, you'll deal heavy raid-wide damage, so move out and get dispelled before going back. Healers dispel themselves first, then call groups to move out, and anyone still with it before it expires, move out last. And if you have an immunity, you can pop it just before the debuff goes out to avoid it completely. When the puddle is at max size, about a quarter of the room, the boss casts Lightning Storm, permanently electrifying the water and dealing channeled raid-wide damage. On Heroic, you also get lightning strikes that shoot out balls to dodge, so run for your life while struggling to cast. After the storm, tanks should move to the statue next to the old one and not opposite, or you'll cut the room in half. Then repeat the cycle until you eventually kill the boss. Horridon is the second boss in Throne of Thunder, is mainly an ad fight, and has one phase split into 5 parts. The boss has a double frontal, so face it to the side, and it charges on someone before casting, so if you get it, don't put it through the raid. For tanks, keep the boss close to the raid so they don't have to run far, and he gives a stacking damage taken increase, so swap after each door. The doors around the arena spawn ads that open one at a time, starting from the leftmost door. 60 seconds after each new door, a Dynamancer spawns, so kick his heal, and at 50% he becomes a raptor that chunks the tank. He also drops an orb that makes the boss charge into the door and close it, so click it as soon as it appears. Each door spawns 3 elite ads, first one alone, then a set of 2, as well as constant small ads. Kill the solo elite quickly, then kill one of the 2 before swapping to the Dynamancer, and once it's dead, kill the leftover elite with the rest of the trash to move on to the next door. For the Faraki door, Stonegazers stun you, so interrupt it and kill them ASAP. Waste Walkers throw out dots for healers to dispel and spawn sand traps, so move out of them. And skirmishers will tickle you unless you're made of paper mache. For the Gurubashi door, Bloodlords charge on people and give them bleeds for healers to deal with. Venom Priests cast Venom Bolt Volley, so interrupt it, and they spawn a clone that creates moving poison pools, so kill them ASAP and don't stand in the pools. For the Drakari door, warriors and champions give a disease for you to remove, and warlords give the tank a healing reduction, so keep an eye on them. They also spawn frozen orbs that damage and slow anyone too close, so move away from them. And last, for the Amani door, protectors deal random damage and interrupt the firecasters when you can. The warbears have a frontal, so face them away, then when the shaman spawns, interrupt their chain lightning, remove the Hex of Confusion so your mages don't cap themselves, and move away from the Nova totems unless you like shock therapy. After you finish all the doors, move to the middle and nuke the boss until 30% when you get War God Jalak. He deals ramping raid-wide damage until you kill him, which enrages the boss, but nuke him down and pump healing into the tanks while they spam defensives and get wrecked. On Heroic, the boss now casts Dire Call every 60 seconds, dealing raid-wide damage, increasing the attack speed of any ads, and spawning a Dino Spirit. The Spirit fixates on someone and can only be seen by them, moving slowly towards them, but it has a shitload of health and you can't kill it. Hitting it with an ability knocks it back, so you'll have to do it for the whole fight. Last, when you get to the final phase, kill Jalak ASAP and nuke the boss before your tanks get crushed into the floor. The Council is the third boss in Throne of Thunder and has one phase with 4 bosses. They don't share health, can be killed in any order, and don't restore health when one dies, so you can pad the shit out of them without feeling guilty. One boss is empowered at all times and gives them new stuff, so deal 25% of their health to break it and give them a damage buff for the rest of the fight. If they reach 100 energy while empowered, they deal ramping raid-wide damage until you break it, so don't target the wrong boss. Have one tank each on Marley and Sul while swapping Malak between them, and Khazra Jin just rolls around like a shit monk. Malak gives the tank debuff stacks that stun you at 15, so swap before you get stunned, or pop a heavy defensive to survive it if you can't be asked. Biting Cold makes someone deal AoE damage, so go stand by yourself. While empowered, this becomes Frostbite, dealing way more damage but with 5 stacks that drop by 1 for each person nearby, so stacking groups to reduce it. On Heroic, you can only soak for 8 seconds, but it's awkward to arrange, so give them an external and spam heal them instead. Marley has a cast, so have the tank kick it, and summons a spirit that tries to heal the lowest boss if it reaches them, so hold her away and CC, slow, and kill the spirits ASAP. When empowered, it spawns a shadow spirit instead that focuses on a player, so kill that one too and run away if you get it. On Heroic, she doesn't spawn the spirit but casts Twisted Fate, making 2 people spawn ads that move together and deal increasing raid-wide damage the closer they get. One is always on the furthest player, so have a ranged player bait it away and then CC, slow, and kill these 2. Khazra Jin just charges on random players, so don't stand in his path, but when empowered, he reflects damage back at you for 20 seconds after each roll. You still need to break the empowerment, just don't top yourself trying to pass. On Heroic, this damage now reflects to the whole raid, so pop some healer CDs to survive your pumpers going zug-zug. Finally for Soul, Sandbolt deals splash damage, so kick it when you can, and Sandpools spawn under random people that root you, so get out ASAP, and spread out to reduce the damage from both. While empowered, Sandstorm deals raid-wide ticking damage and turns the pools into adds that need to be picked up and cleaved down. When they die though, they turn back into Sandpools, so you'll get more adds every cast, but if you don't kill them before the next cast, they'll heal to full and get a damage buff. On Heroic, if he ever gets empowered, he spawns massive adds and you'll probably all fucking die, so the strat is to kill him before that happens. Also on Heroic, every time you break an empowerment, it gives someone a dot with a ramping damage taken increase that can be passed around, so pass it on every 5 stacks, prioing whoever has the least stacks. Lust on pull and try to kill Soul before he gets empowered, stacking him with the empowered boss to cleave them and only swap to break the empowerment before they reach 100 energy. If you have Chad healers, you can take ticks of the raid wide to get more damage on Soul, but if he ever gets empowered, blow some healer CDs and hope you kill him before his adds beat you to death. After he dies, continue with the rest of the bosses, killing them in whichever order you want until you kill them all. Tortos is the 4th boss in Throne of Thunder, is fixed in the wall with 1 phase, and has a bunch of adds. Call of Tortos spawns 3 spinning turtles that fixate on people and knock anyone they hit, but you can slow them to make dodging easier. When you kill them, they hide in their shells and can be yeeted at the boss, but you also need them to hide from Furious Stone Breath, lethal damage to anyone not hiding like a little bitch. Throw a turtle at him to interrupt the breath and give him a damage taken debuff. You get more turtles than you need, so you can keep the buff up longer, but make sure you have one when he casts another breath. Rock Falls are damage circles, so don't stand in them, and they deal a hit of raid wide when they land for healers to do something. Quake Stomp stuns everyone for 1 second, deals raid-wide damage equal to 65% of your max health, and creates a shitload of rockfalls for 8 seconds afterwards. Assign healer CDs for each cast, but the danger is the rockfalls more than the stomp. You also get groups of vampire bats that need to be picked up by an off-tank and AoE'd down. If the tank drops below 350k, the bats deal even more damage and heal for a shitload, so healers keep the tank topped so you can actually kill them. For the main tank, the boss chomps on you and needs someone in melee range at all times, so this can technically be one tanked, but only if your upper torso looks like you came out of a character customizer. On Heroic, Quake Stomp now deals 100% of your health, but the humming crystals around the room give you a shield for 15% of your max health when you hit them. The shield absorbs any healing, increasing the size of the shield instead up to 75%, so pump healing on everyone to survive each stomp as well as the AoE from the rockfalls. Don't get a new shield while you're below 85% until you get topped, because if your health is too low and your shield isn't high enough, you'll probably fucking die. The bats will also now heal if their target is below 500k, so the tank needs to be extra careful using defensives, externals, and keeping their shield up as much as possible to prevent it. AoE stuns are great if you need a second to heal, but you can slow and kite them around in an emergency. Everything else remains the same, so dodge the turtles, kill the bats, hide from the breath, and bring down the boss without getting crushed. Megaera is the 5th boss in Throne of Thunder, requires 2 tanks, and technically has 2 targets but is a single target fight. The boss has 3 types of heads, or 4 on Heroic, and you need to kill 7 heads in total to kill the boss. 2 heads are active at a time that don't share health, and when you kill one, it respawns at the back of the room and spawns a new active head of a different type. The heads at the back cast their main ability, so the more heads you kill, the more mechanics you'll get. The one you didn't kill heals to full and gets an attack speed buff, so alternate which one you kill. Stack the raid on the side of the head you're killing and resist the urge to pad the meters. And when a new head appears, they cast Rampage, dealing channeled raid-wide damage, so assign some CDs and spam the shit out of everyone. For tanks, each head has a frontal breath, so face it away, and they give different debuffs. Arctic Breath stuns you at 5 stacks, Ignite Flesh is a stacking 45-second dot, Rot Armor is a stacking damage taken increase, and on Heroic, Diffusion is a stacking healing taken reduction for blood decays to sweat. Either tank swap after you kill a head, or if your DPS looks like LFR, swap every 2 to 3 stacks and move quickly so they don't breath the raid. From the back, Frost Heads shoot a laser at someone that drops frost patches, so run it behind the raid, and if you have a nice Warlock, use a gateway to get back quicker. On Heroic, they expand over time, so gate away to drop them as far as possible. Fire Heads give someone a dot that drops fire when dispelled, and it will clear frost patches, so move to the edge and call for a dispel. On Heroic, you'll drop fire every 3 seconds until it's removed, so get out ASAP. Venom Heads drop a bomb under someone's feet that deals fall-off damage, so move away from it. On Heroic, they drop 3 bombs each, so run like f*** if you ever have to deal with it. Also on Heroic, Arcane Heads spawn a bunch of adds that bolt and stun people, so group them up, use AoE stops for the casts, and cleave them down. The Heroic strat is never killing the Venom Head, so long as your tanks can survive, but if you have to reset, kill it once and just deal with the extra bombs. Lust whichever set gives you the most trouble, and healers watch the tanks near the end of the fight so they don't melt into the floor. Ji-kun is a single target fixed boss with periodic add cleave and only has 1 phase. On the main platform for tanks, Talon Rake gives a damage taken increase, so swap every 2 stacks or before you die, and her melee hits give a stacking dot for some passive ticking damage. She shoots sonic waves at people that deal splash damage, so spread out. Quills is channeled raid-wide damage, so stack up, pop a healer CD, and bop the guy who never gets benched for some reason. And she has a pushback, so don't get pushed off the edge, but if you do, you'll be saved by a tornado like a safety net for shitters. The nests around the room spawn ad sets every 30 seconds, so create several teams of 3 3 to 4 DPS with a healer to go and deal with them. Lower nests spawn hatchlings which turn into fledglings, and these lay mature eggs which hatch into juveniles. If they spawn, juveniles will fly around the platform and drop shit on people, and you can't really kill them, so if you get too many, you'll probably all fucking die. And the upper nests only spawn eggs, so go up and kill them before they hatch. The ads drop feathers when they die with 4 charges that let you fly, but you can only grab them once per minute, so don't waste your charges. And you don't take fall damage, so you can jump down without breaking your ankles like you got crossed up by LeBron. On Heroic, the feathers only have 3 charges, so never use them to move downward, and make sure you have them when you need to fly up. Each time ads spawn, the boss throws food to them, which you can fly into for a buff, but if the ads aren't alive, it'll drop under people's feet instead. You can clear the shit by standing in it. If you need the room, just pop a personal. Kill the ads ASAP, but if you get upper and lower nests active at the same time, prio the eggs in the upper nests or send 2 teams at once. On Heroic, you also get a Nest Guardian spawn every 3rd wave that needs to be tanked, so either take a 3rd tank or take a tanky plate class to be a fake tank and heal the shit out of them. The Guardians have a wide frontal, so face it away, and if they spawn in an upper nest, prio killing the eggs first. The Heroic fight is all about managing the ad sets, which increase over time, and knowing which teams go down and when, but just listen to your weak aura. Lust on pull or near the end of the fight if it gets too spicy, and keep clearing the nests until you eventually kill the boss. Durumu is the 7th boss in Throne of Thunder, is fixed in the middle of the room, and has 3 phases. During the main phase, Hard Stare gives the tank a stacking healing reduction and a heavy dot that gets removed when healed to full. Swap before it gets too hard to remove the dot or before you get angry healer whispers. Force of Will is a frontal cone that sends someone to Narnia, so don't stand in it. Lingering Gaze makes a bunch of players drop a pool, so drop them at the edge. And Life Drain stuns someone and drains their health, increasing over time and healing the boss. Stand near the floating eye to soak the damage and have a few people in rotation so it doesn't heal the boss too much or kill the Grey Passer. On Heroic, Dark Parasite is a ramping dot on a few people, and when dispelled it becomes Dark Plague, spawning an eye every 3 seconds for the remaining duration. The eyes reflect damage to their target, so if you unload on any eyes, you'll crush your friends. Heal the dot targets for as long as they can survive, then dispel it and let the ads die to passive cleave, but if you have an immunity, you can get rid of the dot immediately. 30 seconds after pull, then every 3 minutes, you get a light spectrum phase, targeting 3 players with coloured lasers that create cones on them. The cones reveal ads hiding in fog clouds, and you need to kill 3 red ads to end the phase, but if you reveal a blue ad, it'll fuck you up. The fog only appears for a few seconds, so get people to place markers to remember where they are. The cones deal ticking damage split between anyone inside, so split the raid with melee in red, healers and ranged in blue, and tanks in yellow. The red group moves around to reveal the red ads, the blue group stays still away from the blue ad, and the amber cone rotates around the platform by itself, so tanks just move with it. And if you move a cone off an ad before it's dead, you'll probably all fucking die. On Heroic, you also get an amber fog, so spawn the amber cone on the opposite side of the cloud to give you as much time as possible before it reveals. If you conceal or reveal the amber ad before you can kill the reds, everyone hard swap to the amber ad and kill it before the cone moves away, and blow healer CDs to survive because it deals heavy damage. Also on Heroic, you only get 80 seconds to find and kill the reds, or the boss kills you all. You then return to the main phase until you start the disintegration phase. The boss spawns purple shit everywhere and rotates around with a giant laser beam, revealing a maze of safe space in the shit, so follow it without being Thanos snapped. Everyone stack up while he precasts and look for the purple lightning to show the safe space, then move slowly through the maze and don't panic or you'll end up like Peter. Once the beam is over, you return to the main phase and continue the rotation. On Heroic, you get ice walls that cut off the platform before each light spectrum and disintegration phase, but each line shares health, so AoE them down to get rid of them ASAP. Lust on pull and play hide and seek while dodging the giant laser until you eventually kill the boss. Primordius is the 8th boss in Throne of Thunder, has a bunch of ads and only 1 phase. The boss casts a frontal, so tanks face it to the side and don't stand in front of him, and he gives the tank a stacking dot, so swap before you die. Slime ads spawn from the edge of the room and move towards the boss, and killing them drops either a red or purple pool. The red pools give you a random stat buff, and when you get 5 total stacks, you become fully mutated, which is actually a good thing. If you don't have it, you deal 75% less boss damage, so nuke the ads and become an X-Man so you don't grey pass. But if you keep picking up the pools after you get mutated, you get a stat debuff, which you can dispel, but it'll remove all your buffs and you'll have to start again. The purple pools hurt like shit and move towards the boss, healing him if they reach them, so if he touches one, you can blame your tanks for the wipe. If any of the ads reach the boss, they give him energy, but you can't avoid them all, so kite the boss around the room to slow the energy gain and don't let him touch purple. When he does reach 100 energy, he gains a random ability, and it's mainly healer shit, so the more abilities you get means more healer pain. Ventral Sacs is raid-wide ticking damage. Volatile Pathogen is a heavy dot to spot heal. Metabolic Boost increases his attack and ability speed so tanks can get domed. Acidic Spines is splash damage on people so range spread out and melee good luck. Caustic Gas is an AoE soak circle, so everyone get inside to make it do nothing. And Erupting Pustules is damage on the floor, but you can't see where it lands, so just heal through any damage. He gets up to 3 abilities at a time on normal and 4 on heroic, so save some CDs for the raid-wide hits when he gets them. On heroic, you get a tank ad every 30 seconds that needs to be kept away from the boss or it'll explode and kill everyone. It also gives the tank a stacking dot, so survive until the main tank needs to get off the boss. The rest of the fight remains the same, so keep kiting the boss around the room, lust when most of the raid is fully mutated, and kill the boss before he gets too many mechanics. The Dark Animus is the 9th boss in Throne of Thunder, requires 3 tanks, and has a shitload of adds. On pull, 100 Animus splits between the small golems around the room, with the large, massive, and boss golems all dormant. Killing an ad transfers its anima to the closest one with space, so watch where you kill them, because if the boss gets 100 or you kill them all, he raw dogs the raid and you'll all fucking die. While active, the boss drains 1 anima from each ad every 6 seconds, so the less you have alive, the less he gets, and don't activate him early. Small golems get a buff when they're close together, so try to keep them apart. Large golems spawn red hellfire that chases people, but we'll be ignoring these. And massive golems have an AoE tank slam with a damage taken increase, so tanks rotate between them to drop your stacks and don't stand near them. And Matter Swap is a dispellable debuff that deals 100% of someone's health split with the furthest person, based on its remaining duration. Dispel it at 5 seconds so the split is 50-50 and it swap blasts you, so make sure you don't swap blast a tank. Split the DPS between the small golems with tanks taking a couple each, and kill them near the massive golems to give them anima while ignoring the large ones. Fill the massive golems with anima and leave 6 small ads on low health with your pets and benchwarmers to kill later, then kill the odd one out to activate the boss, lust it up, and go nuts. The boss throws out permadots, which is mainly a healer problem, and he gains a new ability every 25 anima. At 25, anima ring spawns orbs around the tank that give a massive physical damage debuff, so have a DPS soak one for them to get out. And on heroic it gives a dot, so pop a personal if you're soaking. At 50 anima, he makes random people with the permadot throw out bolts at people, and at 75, anima jolt is a heavy raid-wide hit with an interrupt, so pop some CDs and don't get yourself holy locked. After the second cast of anima drain, kill a small golem on each of the massive ones to reduce the ad count, then do the same thing after the third cast to reduce it even more. Then blast the boss while the tanks rotate around and kill him before he explodes. On heroic, the boss is active on pull and starts with 52 anima, but he doesn't start siphoning for 2 minutes. You get anima rings and the extra bolt damage while you deal with the ads, and once you have the massive golems full, you continue the fight like normal. He also casts Empower Golem, buffing and healing the lowest health ad, so tanks will get trucked near the end of the fight. Lust when everyone gets their CDs back or when all the small ads are dead, and kill the boss before he gets more anima than a Shadowlands Covenant. Ironcon is the 10th boss in Throne of Thunder and has 4 phases, but is fairly straightforward. Each phase lasts until you kill his mount, but on heroic they piss off at 25% and come back in the final clusterfuck phase. In all phases, Impale gives the tank a heavy bleed, so swap every few stacks, but if you're a Giga Chad Prot Paladin, you can bubble them off and 1 tank at all. He also throws his spear at someone and drops lines around it, changing based on the phase. During phase 1, if he reaches max energy, you'll get Giga Stomped, but he uses it to cast Unleash Flame, split damage on stacked players with a damage taken increase. Split into 5 groups and rotate stacking up every few casts to keep healers happy and energy low. Molten Inferno is a hit of raid-wide damage, and his spear drops fire that gives a dot, so don't stand in it. During phase 2, his main cast is Windstorm, dragging everyone to the middle and spawning tornadoes that move around the room. While inside, you do way less damage and healing, so pop some speed or a Warlock Gate and get out ASAP. Some of the tornadoes stick around after the storm, so move to the back of the room as they don't go there often. Arcing Lightning stuns someone, absorbing all their healing and dealing AoE damage, so free them by clicking on them. The AoE jumps to anyone nearby, so stand alone to get rid of it, but it might spread during the storm. And the spear lines stun you if you run through them too much, so watch where you move. During phase 3, the boss reflects 10% of any damage taken for the whole phase to make healer life fun. Freeze is a debuff between 1 and 5 seconds that explodes for raid-wide damage to keep healers on their toes. The spear lines give a 25% slow to movement, attack, ranged, and casting speed to punish you if you can't sit still. And Dead Zone spawns 2 shields on random sides of the boss, so either move to the other side or wait until it's over if you can't move without touching the lines. When you've killed all his mounts, you get the main boss, and he gets a stacking damage buff, so kill him before he gets too big. Fist Smash is channeled raid-wide, so blow some CDs on the later casts, and he makes the remaining tornadoes icy or fiery for some extra ticking damage. Survive the increasing damage and kill the boss before you run out of juice. On heroic, you get extra mechanics during each phase from the other mounts, but deal with them all the same as normal. In phase 1, he sends tornadoes through the room that knock you back. He also casts Arcing Lightning, so click the stunned people and heal through the AoE. In phase 2, Frost Spikes spawn under a couple of people, but you can avoid it if you pay attention. And you get freeze debuffs, so if it happens before a windstorm, pop personals or a damage reduction, or you'll probably lose people. In phase 3, you get Unleashed Flame, so have melee stack under the boss to bait and heal through it. And in phase 4, they all come back, so kill the mounts first, but you can cheese the transition a bit. During phase 3, bring the boss to about 28% and hold until a dead zone, as he won't phase until it ends. Then lust it up and nuke him before the others appear. You get Arcing Lightning and Unleashed Flame until the mounts die, so leave melee stacked, nuke them until the boss is alone, then kill him before he fists you all to death. Twin Empyreans are the 11th boss in Throne of Thunder with 2 bosses and 4 phases. First, you can get buffs from the Celestials by clicking their statues and being sent into another realm to play Connect the Dots. Walk between the stars to create the pattern above your head, and when you get it correct, you probably won't feel so useless. Chi-Ji deals damage to the boss, Zuen slows some boss abilities, Yulon gives healing and mana, and Nizal gives extra health. They each have 1 charge for phases 1 and 2, then reset in phase 3, but they don't stack, so make sure to use them up. Phase 1, or the night phase, starts with Lulin active and Suen appearing occasionally. Lotus Flowers spawn slow-moving sleep clouds, so don't get hit or beg for a dispel. Cosmic Barrage deals splash damage on people, so spread out and use Zuen to slow them and dodge them. Beasts of Nightmare fixate the tank, but only they can kill it, so taunt swap and pretend you're a DPS before the next one appears. While they're active, healing the tank gives that healer a dot, so use bigger heals and only heal when they need it. Suen appears occasionally casting Tears of the Sun, channeled damage on random targets for healers to press buttons and DPS to dot her up, and Light of Day drops AoE on people for another reason to spread. On Heroic, lurkers hide in the mist and bolt people and are revealed by Suen, but they all appear when you phase, so it's easier to ignore them and kill them at the end. After 3 minutes, the twins swap places and they start the day phase. Suen keeps casting Light of Day, so stay spread. She jumps on a random ranged and then runs back to the tank, leaving fire on the ground, so don't stand in it. Fan of Flames is a tank hit with the damage taken increase, so swap every couple of stacks or just when it drops. And she deals raid-wide ticking damage that give her a stacking buff each tick. To reset her stacks, Lulin drops Ice Comets on random players that deal heavy AoE, so pop something and don't look up. Standing near the comets reduces fire damage taken and slows you down, but it also slowly removes the boss's stacks, so drag her around the room to keep them low. On Heroic, Nuclear Inferno is heavy channeled raid-wide damage, so remember to save a comet, then stack up and pop a healer CD or use one of the Celestials. After another 3 minutes, you get both bosses together, lasting until you kill one. Lulin casts Ice Comet and Cosmic Barrage, so stay spread. She also gains Tidal Force, sending out fast-moving waves to dodge, so use Zuen to slow them down or just heal through anyone hit. Suen keeps jumping on people, dropping AoEs and gaining Radiant stacks, so drag her to the comets to keep them low. Lust it up when you phase and focus Suen to kill her first, and once she's dead, you've basically won. Then finish off Lulin while dodging waves, comets and barrages, and don't forget to use any leftover Celestial buffs. Lei Shen is the final boss in Throne of Thunder and has 3 phases with 2 intermissions. His platform has 4 conduits that give the boss an ability while he's near them, but if he's not near any, he deals ramping raid-wide damage. Static Shock deals big split damage on a ranged player, so stack up to reduce it or use an immunity if you're a Chad. Overcharge roots someone and sends out a lightning wave, so either stack on them or make sure you're in Narnia to avoid it. Diffusion Chain is a chain lightning that spawns an ad each jump, so range spread out, and on Heroic they fixate on people. And Bouncing Bolt spawns ads if you don't catch the swirls, so don't miss or they'll fuck you up. If a conduit reaches max energy, its ability gets stronger, but when you phase, the highest one overloads and stops casting. On Heroic, the boss gains the overloaded ability for the rest of the fight, so overload the ones which are too spicy when upgraded. During phase 1, the boss casts Thunderstruck, spawning a circle under a ranged player that deals massive fall-off damage. Stack at the edge of the platform, then pop some speed when it spawns and run to the other side. Crashing Thunder is lightning strikes near the boss, so kite him out of the shit. And for tanks, Decapitate deals massive damage reduced by distance, so taunt swap and get the fuck out. You overload east on normal and west on heroic, starting on that one until 90 energy, then move clockwise, swapping at around 80 energy. At 66%, you start the first intermission. Just make sure you phase before the last conduit gets too high. The boss jumps to the middle and the conduits all cast their abilities in pairs, so split evenly into 4 groups to cover each section and deal with them the same way as phase 1. Spread out for diffusion chain, catch the swirls, stack up and heal for the static shock, and stand on the ground icon for overcharge to avoid the other waves. On Heroic, you also get Helm of Command, a single target pushback, so use some speed or run against it and pray for your wheelchair specs. After 45 seconds, you'll start phase 2, with the boss gaining new abilities. Lightning Whip is a frontal on someone that leaves lightning on the floor, so don't get hit. Fusion Slash is a knockback on the tank, so swap on each cast and don't get yeeted into the void. And Ball Lightning spawns splash damage and spawns a bunch of ads on people, so have 8 ranged, spread and bait it with everyone else under the boss. When they spawn, mass grip them onto the boss and use AoE stuns while you kill them, but it deals high damage, so if it overlaps with anything, be ready to pump those heals. You overload the North conduit on both normal and heroic, but you have one less, so they'll probably upgrade before you can phase. On normal, move the same as phase 1, starting on north until you get to south, where you stay until you phase him. On heroic, to give yourself time, wait for each conduit to upgrade before you move on, but you might need to hold DPS for the last one to upgrade so it doesn't overload. At 30%, you start the second intermission, which is the same as the first, but without the overloaded area, so split into 3 groups instead of 4 and deal with it all the same way. After the intermission, you start phase 3, with half the room space, but you don't have to deal with the conduits anymore. On heroic, you will still get the overloaded abilities, so catch the swirls and stack up for the static shock, but if you solo soak, your healers might not spit on you. For tanks, Overwhelming Power is a stacking debuff that makes him hit harder and deal AoE, so don't stand on the tank and swap around 10 stacks. He also casts a room-wide pushback from a random direction, dealing ramping raid-wide damage each cast. He keeps the Lightning Whip frontal, so don't stand in it, Ball Lightning, so spread out and grip them in, and Thunderstruck, which needs to be baited. Hold the boss at one end of the platform and just before the cast, ranged move to the other side and use a Warlock Gate to get back quickly. On Heroic, the overlap of Winds, Thunderstruck and Ball Lightning is the most dangerous, so assign a few healer CDs to save the raid. Survive the mechanical soup and Winds and kill the boss before they push you off the edge. Horridon is available after clearing Heroic Throne of Thunder and has 2 phases. Anima and Vita orbs spawn at the edge of the room and move towards the boss, giving abilities based on which one reaches him. Kill the one you don't want, but the main strat is to always kill the Anima orb because its mechanics are 8s to deal with, and each time he eats an orb he gets a damage buff, so don't take too long to phase. For tanks, Fatal Strike hits you for your current health and requires active mitigation to not get one-shot, but if you're up for the challenge, you can one-tank it. When he absorbs Vita, he deals a massive hit of raid-wide, so pop a healer CD. He spawns an ad that casts Chain Lightning and explodes for AoE when it dies, so have an off-tank or a fake tank kite it away. His other ability is Unstable Vita, a debuff on someone that jumps to the furthest person and hits anyone in between. If you take it twice, you get one shot, so everyone in the raid except the tank needs to take it. Hold the boss in the middle of the room with the tank in front, the raid behind, a Vita mark on the right, and a soak mark further away. If you get Vita, stand on the close mark while the first soaker moves or gates to the far mark, and as soon as it jumps, they move to the Vita mark and the next soaker moves out. Then you keep that rotation going until everyone's taken it without putting it through the raid. On the 4th and 7th set of orbs, reset everyone's vulnerability by moving the boss slightly to make him soak both orbs, making sure he gets Anima first. Assign a couple of healer CDs as you'll get 2 big hits of raid wide, but this lets you only do Vita soaking the whole phase, and DPS can ignore the orbs during this and tunnel the boss for extra deeps. At 40% you start phase 2, now spawning corrupted Anima and Vita orbs around him and dealing constant raid wide damage until you kill him. If a corrupted Vita reaches the boss, it gives him a damage buff, but if you kill it, it chain lightnings the raid, so it's best to let it reach. And if a corrupted Anima reaches the boss, it heals him for 10% of his remaining health, and killing it deals large AoE split between anyone nearby. If the explosion doesn't hit anyone, it'll hit everyone, so get some immunity specs to be Batman and take the bomb. If your DPS is high enough, you can ignore the orbs entirely, lust as soon as you get into the phase, and zug the shit out of him until you eventually kill the boss. And that's it, congrats on killing Horridon and really clearing Throne of Thunder, a fairly simple but tightly coordinated fight, at least in phase 1. If you want more info on the fights or just want to support the channel, you can become a member to get access to my written guide notes. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one.